Alright guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new video. You guys already know that I love hot peppers. You know that I talk a lot about the health benefits of cayenne pepper, habaneros, scotch bonnets, Trinidad scorpions, Naga vipers, the entire spectrum, if you will, of hot peppers. And you also know that I'm a huge advocate of cayenne pepper tea and using it for the heart, for increasing your immunity, for increasing circulation, you name it. So peppers, to be honest, and those of you who watch my older videos know this, peppers got me into natural healing. After I read a book called Left for Dead by Dick Quinn, it really changed the game for me. And the day after I read that, or the morning of, after I finished that book one morning, I went out and bought some cayenne peppers and immediately started taking it and noticed a huge increase in just the way I felt. I felt better. I felt like I had done something really good for my system. And it felt deeply, it felt like I had cleared out blockages. So most of the people who contact me about their beneficial experiences with cayenne pepper have similar stories to the ones that I tell about how it makes you feel like you've cleared blockages, your circulation improves, you name it. But aside from taking cayenne as a tea, aside from taking it that way, which is how I prefer it, I never recommend taking it in capsules. You can also start to experiment with the other varieties of peppers, and you can make them into delicious recipes like this, which is habanero hot oil. So I have oil here, ladies and gentlemen. You can see where it separates, and then I have an entire, just a massive amount of homegrown habaneros. These habaneros were all grown with shungite infused water. They were babied from day one, and these are the hottest habaneros I've ever grown, as well as the healthiest. The shungite really helps with plant growth. If you feed your water, or if you feed your plants that have been infused with shungite, you're going to notice a huge difference. And I've done multiple experiments to prove this, and next year I'm actually going to do a side-by-side comparison of plants being fed shungite water and plants not being fed shungite. So to make this, I don't have exact measurements. I really should have given you guys exact measurements, but ideally what you're going to do is you're going to take as much habaneros as you want. This was an entire glass bowl, a large glass bowl filled full of homegrown habaneros. Then you're going to take your habaneros, you're going to put them into a blender, and you're going to pulse it until they're not completely pureed, but kind of chopped up. Be careful when you open the blender, because if you breathe that air, you will cough, you will sneeze, sometimes for upwards of 30 minutes. So what I would recommend doing is pulse your stuff indoors, ideally outdoors, but if you can't do that, pulse it indoors and then take it outside to open it, and then kind of jump away from the container when you open it, because the capsaicin and the heat does travel quite a long ways, and it's ready to jump out of the blender when you open it. So I would hold your breath, open the blender, and then let it air out for a second, and then take it inside, put it into a container, fill it with organic avocado oil. What I did was I put about a ½ inch to an inch, I'd say about an inch above my plant matter. So I put my plant matter in the bottom of the pan and then filled it up with oil, avocado oil. This is the only oil I would recommend because it has a neutral flavor. If you use olive oil, if you use coconut oil, it's going to be absolutely disgusting. So avocado oil is your best friend with hot oils, ladies and gentlemen. Avocado oil also has a handful of benefits. So you don't have to add as much avocado oil, but what I like, ladies and gentlemen, is I like having this top layer as well. What I'll do is whenever I want some of this, I'll put my spoon in and grab some of this pulp, which you can see it's separating. I also have some chocolate habaneros in here as well, which is why you see brown spots. Chocolate habaneros are brown, excuse me, are brown. But what I like to do is I like to add a little bit of extra oil when I'm cooking this, and you're going to cook it for about an hour and a half, because after I'm done scooping all of the peppers out, and I'll put this on rice, whatever I'm eating, I'll have this layer of oil left that I can drizzle over my food. So I would put about an inch, maybe less, maybe a little bit more, over your peppers once they're in your pot. I use a small little ceramic pan. And then what you're going to do is you're going to turn it on to a little less than medium and let that cook for about 10 minutes, and then reduce it down to low. And you can cover it, you don't have to cover it. I covered mine and I let it cook for about an hour and a half. Then you let it cool, you put it in your mason jar, and you're good to go. All of this stuff is so delicious. If you were to only cook it for about 30 minutes though, you're not going to get the good flavor. So make sure, you guys, to cook it long enough. store it in a mason jar, and then store it in the fridge. It'll last a long time. This is one of the greatest ways to, if you grow hot peppers, to store them. Peppers go bad, not super quick, but if you leave them on the counter, even if you leave them in the refrigerator, they will start to go bad and get soft, and that's kind of nasty. So what I like to do is I have a ton of peppers on my plants still. I'll probably make a couple more jars of this and keep it in the refrigerator, but what I like to do, ladies and gentlemen, is just kind of evenly distribute it. I'll eat peppers, I'll eat hot peppers, and then I'll also put this oil on my food. And it is so delicious, and this has such a large handful of health benefits. But I'm going to wrap this one up. I hope that's a somewhat clear recipe. There's not exact measurements. This is kind of an intuitive science of sorts, but this is how you make hot oil. And I've done this with Trinidad scorpions, I've done it with Naga vipers, I've done it with fatalis, I've done it with Thai dragons, I've done it with cayenne. Very simple recipe, and it packs a large punch.